The big one then. I was just looking at the stat, actually. I'm sure you saw my facial expression.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the statistic. Since last year, excuse me, Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, since the year 2023. Let me read you what has happened between those two teams, big teams. Mamelodi Sundowns, in January 2023, they beat Kaizer Chiefs 1-0. In August 2023, Mamelodi Sundowns beat Kaizer Chiefs 2-1. In September 2023, Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs 1-1. In the same month, 2023, Mamelodi Sundowns 2, Kaizer Chiefs 1. And so far this year, in May 2024, Mamelodi Sundowns 5, Kaizer Chiefs 1. So in the last 5 matches, I have not mentioned Kaizer Chiefs winning against Mamelodi Sundowns, although those Kaizer Chiefs teams were not coached by someone named Nasreddine Nabi. Let's talk about Chiefs. We'll focus on Sundowns a little bit later.
Yeah.
They've started really well. They look like a bunch of men. They don't look like they're pushovers. They're very exciting to watch, especially the last game, first 23 minutes, very exciting to watch. Let's talk about Chiefs.
Yeah, let's talk about Chiefs. A big club. But the first thing, Nkululeko, that we need to talk about when we preview this game is the fact that Kaizer Chiefs is playing in front of their home fans for the first time. And for me, in my opinion, that's something to be said. Coach Nasreddine Nabi is going to come against the fans, very toxic Kaizer Chiefs fans, I must say. The reason why I'm saying that...
in Moses Mabhida, it was largely Kaizer Chiefs fans, just to correct that.
But those fans are the fans that constantly are with the team, fans that travel with the club.
Yeah.
Support the club in good and bad. When you see us, sometimes I'm a fans that say FNP, they can be very hostile. It's coming up against that fans that won't be satisfied, more especially when they have to resort to defending, because at some point they're going to have to defend in that game, suffer together as a team, because I think the approach of Sundowns will be keeping the ball. But let's focus on them. It's very important that they're playing at home. You look at their form guide, it says they've got 2 wins already in 2 games. For me, in my opinion, a very good first 20 minutes, but I think we can all agree that Amazulu dominated that last game.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should get carried away. I think I was listening to the coach as well. The biggest worry that the coach has, Nkululeko, is the fact that some of the younger players, yes, they are developed by the club, but tactically they need a lot of discipline. Players like Abomdu, players like Abu Obrigado, when they come into the pitch, players like Abu Mart. Abu Mart, their biggest disadvantage, Nkululeko, is out of position. They normally jump out. And that's the biggest worry, because they get excited. They lose their positions, and then Kaizer Chiefs become open, more especially in the direct line, which is in midfield. Because so many times where you saw Amazulu, Pen Mutswari, Nabongema, where they broke through into the direct line, where they attack Kaizer Chiefs direct. But also, their left side is very vulnerable, in my opinion.
Yeah, Bradley Cross was in trouble a lot of times in that game.
I think there's a weakness in the left-hand side. I think we might capitalize. I think there's something that they need to work on. I think the biggest weakness Konamanje Kaizer Chiefs is defensively. They need a lot of work defensively. They need to put a lot of work in. And I can understand. They're in the construction phase. That's what the coach says. The coach needs time on the pitch. Definitely needs time on the pitch to work defensively. It seems like there's progress, Nkululeko. There is progress. For me, what I'm impressed with is the double pivot that they're using in midfield. I think Jabulo Blom makes Mart look good. I think Ubobo did say this as well. I think it does make him look good. I'm not saying he had an A-class performance, but I saw an improvement in his game.
Just him being there.
A 6 out of 10, in my opinion, in his game. Still a lot of mistakes in his game, but I think the first half, more especially the first 30 minutes, first 20 minutes, a lot of control, kept the ball a little bit better. For me, Nkululeko since Nkula, this is the style of play Kaizer Chiefs, where in the first 20 minutes, where they kept the ball, slowed down the game, and then played on a quick transition with the players that they have.
Yeah. Before you go on, you're speaking about the games themselves, what happens within the game. Now, there is the bigger game outside the actual game itself, which is the morale of a country, because it's the biggest club in the country. Secondly, I think the perception as well. That's why I keep on saying they look like men. And if you think about the chance that Coach Kevin Johnson got, which is squandered, you should have used that chance better. We should have seen his team with his own identity, but we didn't see that. We didn't see that with Coach Athazwane Molefe-Ntseki. Do you agree with the opinion that, although it's a small sample size, which means it's only been 2 matches, these guys look like a difficult team to play against? They are not pushovers anymore. I know Maromo Gallants dominated them, clearly.
Yeah.
However, the Amazulu game, you're kind of starting to see. So the longer the more they play, they are going to become a very difficult team to play against. They will not be a joke. They will not be number 10. That means their rightful place, they might be maybe top 6, top 4. Do you agree with that, that there are some signs of improvement?
Now there are signs. I think they're a top 5 team, top 6, top 5 team. I think for me, in my opinion, if they get there, the coach has done well, considering of what happened last season.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the squad and the profile of the team, Nkululeko. For me, I'm looking at that and I'm saying there's personality on the team now. And there's a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of drive. Remember, football is a game of relations, Nkululeko. It's about us getting the best of us are taking those actions in between this game. So we need to fight for one another. You know what I mean? It's a game of and that's what I saw in my opinion. I saw people that want to fight for the patch, people that wanted to fight for one another. The intensity for me of the team is much better on the pitch, on and off the ball, and as well the personality. I spoke about the dark arts. Miguel, he's adding. I think he got the man of the match. I think well deserved in my opinion.
Defensively, Nasreddine was the man of the match in that game.
I think second half, Nkululeko, considering the fact that they had to defend. Remember, they had to defend.
There were a lot of moments where Ethan Brooks was between. He was found and he got the ball between those centre backs. But anyways, without derailing your train of thought, you were just complimenting them. They're a little bit better.
They're a little bit better. But for me, also as well, speaking about Augustin Sorino, you cannot segregate that as well. But let me maybe start at the back, because the personality at the back is important. Gumikel. But for me, this is what they lack in midfield. They lack that personality again in midfield now. They need that little bit of arrogance, more especially from their captain like Yusuf Mart. They need a player who will play with initiative, have a little bit of arrogance, personality, play with the right intensity, lead build up. What I want to see from Umar at times, I want to see him being an extension of the coach, directing a build up. You understand? Occupying my pockets, not all the time he jump and then he plays on the second ball. And then also Gaston Serino gives them the personality as well, gives them the intensity, gives them the character, a big player for them. A big player. We know he's a threat. He was at Mamelodi Sundowns, one of the players that can kick me both feet, one of the players that can score outside the box. Nkululeko. He's deadly on the box. He's a penalty taker. He's deadly on a set piece as well, because we saw, I think, Kaizer Chiefs also, I think where they're going to dominate the Sundowns, or maybe where they can get a point, or maybe cause the Sundowns problems, I think it's through a set piece. I think they've got a crazy delivery, Gaston Serino, through a set piece or cross. And then they've got a big man in the box, Ibubo Miguel, Nabuchiva Varo, right? And then also they've got a technical player, Nuri Foster, who's very good in a 1v1 situation. So I'm looking at the personality of the team. I'm looking at the style of play. We cannot say they're top, Nkululeko. They haven't reached, they're in a construction phase. But for me, I see an improvement. I like what I'm seeing in terms of how they want to approach the game, in terms of how they want to play. I can already see this process. And already, Nkululeko, another thing that's very important, in the final third, you can already see that there's an identity in how they want to play. There's ideas and a model in terms of how they want to attack the last line.
That's why I'm saying that Kevin Johnson squandered his opportunity, because we needed to see that with him. With Arthur's we needed to see that. This team looks like a bunch of men, actually. I'm not saying that they're going to beat Sundowns. I would expect Sundowns to beat them anyways, but they look like a bunch of men. And if you give them a couple of months, then there will be a formidable team, and that's what the country needs. Let's focus on Sundowns. It was one of the worst possible starts, really, for Coach Manqoba. Mngqithi gets out of the MTN 8. There's a lot of controversy with regards to the talk between him, Tebogo Mokoena, Kurisho Mudau. He didn't have Ronan Williams at the beginning of the season as well. There was a lot. It was a baptism of fire. He got out of a very big competition in the MTN 8 that they would have wanted to go to the final of, which they were in the final last season. However, recently, it's starting to come together. It came together against Mbabane Swallows. It came together against Marumo Gallants. I think the last game he played was Marumo Gallants, right?
Yeah, Marumo Gallants.
Marumo Gallants, 4-1. It's starting to come together. Let's talk about them. And I suppose the easiest way to shut out any criticism is to keep on winning, win convincingly as well. Tashreeq Matthews is doing really well. Allende is doing really well as well. You're starting to see the emergence of even Malibongo Koza, who's being sprinkled into that starting lineup as well. Yes, Aseko Tiwane as well is growing into a player. He will not be better than Modiba, but he's growing into a player who's not a clear weakness. He's becoming a professional at a very big club as well. Let's talk about Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah. For me, the first things I'm thinking of is, we've done well when we've played against the Kaizer Chiefs in the last couple of games. And I think the message needs to be clear, in my opinion. And I'm looking at the profile of the team. I'm thinking to myself, you've dropped the Tebza and understandably so. Maybe there were reasons. Maybe we did say about Junior and the people that were in studio that maybe Coach Manqoba is working with them psychologically. But Nkululeko, we cannot lie. Umurena has been doing very well in the right back position. Rivaldo Kutse has been doing very well as a defensive midfielder, because when the team wins, we don't even feel the absence of those players, right? The only absence.
It will be an interesting test because of the opposition you've been playing, even for Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
The opposite is true, that it is only this game that will kind of give us an idea of, because if you lose this game, then the first question will be, where is Mudau and where is Mokoena?
But for me, in my opinion, it would be really unfair on the players like Abu Rivaldo, players like Abu Morena, because they've done well and they've always been covers in those positions. And also, Nkululeko, it's very important to understand those players are coachable. They've been humble for so many years, waited for their opportunity. I think players like Abu Morena, they are really they've been at Mamelodi Sundowns for so many years, more especially those two players. For me, the reintroduction, Riva, is very important in that Mamelodi Sundowns team, in my opinion. But also, Umurena tomorrow is going to be very important, because I'm looking at the defensive side, the Kaizer Chiefs. They are very vulnerable on the left. I think Coach Manqoba can attack that right side with Umurena, no Lucas Ribeiro coming into the pockets.
Would Morena be the best possible option? Is his output in the final third better than Emudau or even Umdunyelwa, for example? Because if you clearly are seeing a weakness on the opposition, you're going to have to be able to exploit it. I think Ribeiro obviously could exploit that. But if Morena is flying on the outside and is in direct confrontation, not Bradley Cross, would you not want someone to be able then to convert whatever advantage he gains, converted? So you confront Bradley Cross, dribble past him, and then create opportunities. For example, a Dino van Rooyen, I would say, he will win those duels and he will bring in that delivery so that you guys can score the goal. The question to be answered by the coach then will be, which right back gives you the best possible chance to say, win that duel, that direct confrontation, and then give us a scoring option there?
Yeah, I think there's been a problem in our right side of our attack, Mamelodi Sundowns. Lack of quality in terms of
the final
third. For sure, I think everybody sees that. But I think if we are honest as well, Umurena in the last two games, Umatrapa, has been very impressive. I think he's working in the training pitch. I think he does the extra work where you can see a square passer trying to improve. It's not there. I think they've been a 6 out of 10 in my opinion in terms of the quality. I think it can get better. But in terms of the options that we have now, I'm looking at the profile when I'm thinking about the game and envisioning the game, that we're going to keep the ball a lot. I think that's the message from Manqoba. Keep the ball, slower the intensity when you have to, because we need to break them centrally through the direct line. Use Ribeiro in a build-up process, and then Umurena must occupy the channel, right? And then you've got, obviously, Oprimidiba, you've got a Allende, or you've got a Rivaldo Kutse to add in a threat defensive. So you don't need Umurena to be coming back. We already have enough in terms of rest defense, because we know Kutse doesn't jump into the progressive line. He always stays as a libero or a regista in the double pivot, in the double center back. So Umurena, I'm looking at that profile. I think the best option will be Umurena. Firstly, because of his speed, he can play behind Bradley Cross, because we realize that Bradley Cross has a poor recovery. Russian Dutli, he's not with the quickest of centre backs, so maybe we can try and play behind him, more Reynas as well, occupying that space, more especially when we feed balls. Lentuzo Ribeiro, when he drops into the pocket, when he turns, he needs two options. The first option is need to move Reyna on the outside, no Reynas inside with the movement going into Russian Dutli. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that triangle, and I'm thinking to attack that left side of the Kaizer Chiefs defense, it would be interesting to have a Reynas, a Ribeiro, and a Tau to attack.
Let's talk about Tashreeq Matthews, because it could be very important.
A very important player, young, very energetic. I think, in my opinion, he's a Mamelodi Sundowns player. A Mamelodi Sundowns material, in my opinion. Runs behind, but what makes him good as well is that he's good on the ball, Nkululeko. Actually, we need attackers that are very good on the ball. Technically very good. But I think what his best quality, Nkululeko, is always arriving in the box and making the right runs. He chooses to make that. I think that's proper development from Europe, Nkululeko. Knowing when and where. More especially in the box. I think he never gets tired to make a run. If the first pass doesn't come, he makes another run as well. I think you saw the goal he scored during the week against Maroon, where he was in the penalty spot. If the ball is on the right, Reynas makes that run that I was talking about when Ribeiro receives in the pocket. He makes that run, or Opre receives in that pocket. He makes that run, Reynas, and then Matthews comes from the left, running behind the defense, which way I feel Miguel is going to be tested.
All right, let's take it home. Sorry to cut you. For Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs is not Mbabane Swallows. For Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs is not Marumo Gallants. For Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns is not Marumo Gallants. Mamelodi Sundowns is not Amazulu. I say that to say there's jeopardy for both teams. It is possible that both of them could be maybe happy with a draw, and Orlando Pirates will probably be very happy with a draw too, in the context of that picture of who's leading the race. Who wins this and how do they win it?
To be honest with you, Nkululeko, the message from Coach Manqoba should be two messages, Nkululeko. Keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the intensity, keep the intensity. That's how you win the game. For me, you attack Chiefs directly on the direct line in midfield. Uba Bobos are inside, Nkululeko. If inside Aba Bobozegi, you use the left-hand side. I think that's the weakness here. I think that's how they win the game. For me, I'm watching the second half. Kaizer Chiefs and Amazulu. And I'm thinking to myself, I think there's the reference for Mamelodi Sundowns there. Keep the ball, try and stretch their defense wide by using a fullback to attack Nama wingers that come inside a pocket. I think we realize that Omar can be very lazy in terms of Omar recovery run. Castillo as well, when he's on the pitch, can be very lazy. Umtu, like we said, tactically, sometimes he jumps out of our positions where it tactical discipline, I'm sure sometimes. I see Kaizer Chiefs playing well, but I also see Mamelodi Sundowns dominating the game. I think Kaizer Chiefs will play in patches, in my opinion. I think they will. Remember also, Nkululeko, it's very important to mention this. Football is also, you don't play 90 minutes and win the game. You can play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, get 3 goals and win the game.
Yeah.
So for me, Kaizer Chiefs is the most luckiest team in the country. That's the one team that can surprise you again, Nkululeko. More especially in such games. They can come up with a 2-1
offending
win.
a lot of people.
I know, Mara. Even Sundowns fan will tell you this. If there's one team we fear, because even they will not play well, Nkululeko. Even last season, there was a period where Dupree scored 2 goals in the derby. And they didn't even play well. They are that team.
Oh, yeah, that was a great derby, actually. I think Pirates won 3-2.
Yeah. So they will surprise you. They will surprise you. They are that team. They have a surprise element based on obviously the 12th man. They'll be very motivated to be playing at FNP. Cannot underestimate that as well. But I see them struggling within the game because with the Mamelodi Sundowns, very professional players, international players, they play careful. Very important understanding. That game is going to feel like a Champions League game. And that's how we need to approach that game. We need to be very aggressive from the first minute to the last minute. But I think where the game is going to be won is in midfield and how we control the game and how we keep the ball. We cannot rush. We need them to commit in our half so that we can break them.
Yeah. Good money's on Sundowns. Your prediction?
I see a 2-1 win for Mamelodi Sundowns.
2-1 win for Mamelodi Sundowns.